Okay, hello everyone. It's good to see so many people here. It's really cool. We've had a few community meetings about this project already. And tonight is sort of a community meeting, but it's mainly a speaker forum. And we've got a fantastic speaker for you, and I'll introduce her now. I just wanted to give you a short update of more or less where we are. So this project has been going on. I started working with Tent City in 2014, and then we carried on working with people on the street. And in the summer last year, Debbie O'Malley secured $2 million as a GEO bond earmarked for the tiny home villages. So we were already working as a working group, just grassroots people, all kinds of people, mainly just anyone who was interested in trying to find a solution. So that injection of that possibility of having some funds, albeit just capital funds, was really a good encouragement. And at the end of last year, we basically closed the working group, and the county then took over as a main partner with some grassroots participation in looking at where we can site such a village, what exactly we want to do with it. And I've now also seen that it's almost as if people need to talk through all the various alternatives so that they can come to own it. You need to really explore what you want to do so that you can find what is the best possibility. And that does take a little bit of time, but then something really good also came out of it now in this iteration, because what we've realized is people are living on the street. And it's sort of an easy term to just say that, but they are literally living and sleeping on the street, and unfortunately sometimes dying as well. And it's not too difficult to sort this situation, because there aren't that many people, but enough to really cause concern. So what is the problem? There's the curb. And then there's affordable housing, the traditional affordable housing. And that gap between those two spots is just simply too large. So there are services in Albuquerque. There's a lot of services in Albuquerque, but perhaps not enough of a diversification. So what we're trying to do is to just widen the range of entry points for people. And what we've now decided in this combined grassroots county committee is that we really want to try and have a continuum. So yes, there is some emergency housing necessary, because people are living on the street, so that sort of speaks for itself. But also there seems to be a dire need for possibilities for women. And Debbie is one of the people, our speaker tonight is one of the people that really concentrates on working with women. And those women are also sometimes caregivers, so they're not just solo, so you immediately look at families as well. So we don't know whether we'll be able to accommodate families. We're still exploring that. But then at least perhaps try and get some emergency housing for women, perhaps in very close proximity to a provider, an existing provider, so that it could almost be like a satellite to that provider. This is a very new idea. But that would be one entry point. Something that we've been speaking about a lot, and I'm happy to stay behind after the presentation and answer any questions and chat to you. This is my passion, so it's not a chore. I'm happy to do that. But I also want to acknowledge that many people have already heard all the ins and outs of this transitional village. That's the one that we've been speaking about for a long time. So it's not transitional in the sense of the HUD definition. The HUD definition says 2 years, you're out. And okay, so where are the people supposed to go? Back to the street? Doesn't make sense. So we're thinking more in terms of transitional, just in the semantic value of that term. So that's the one that we definitely want to get done as soon as possible. But then also, okay, so now the people are transitioning out. Where do they go? There's still not enough affordable housing, even the traditional type. So we're also considering to then have a permanent facility. And that could potentially be mixed income housing. We've heard many people saying, oh, well, I would live in a village like that. So if anyone here is interested in the tiny home living concept and you're housed currently, please contact me, because I would love to know what do you envisage of such a mixed income housing possibility. So we can chat about the ins and outs of the actual village concept afterwards. We do have some big news. This past Sunday, we published, the county, I'm just taking credit for it. The county published the RFI for a provider partner. So the acronym is Request for Information. And from this input that we then get from people, from the various providers, we would then be able to formulate a really sensible and a good and a solid RFP, another acronym, so Request for Proposal, and then hopefully get a really stellar partner, and then we'll be a little bit further along on our way. So I'm not even going to ask for questions, because I don't want questions on this right now, because we want to listen to Debbie. So our speaker tonight is Debbie Johnson, and she's got a phenomenal life history in any case. We got to know each other. I was interrogated by the Coalition to End Homelessness at one of their meetings, and I felt a bit blue coming out of there because they were asking really hard questions and I didn't completely have all the answers. And I was walking out all dejected, and this bubbly person ran after me and said, "Hello, we need to talk," and that was Debbie. And she is the CEO and founder of the Tender Love Community Center. And she'll tell you more about the center, but just in brief, they concentrate on working with women, precariously housed or unhoused, and they really break the cycle. Because through their curriculum, at the end of that curriculum, people have the means and the knowledge to care for themselves and their families. So I think that's a phenomenal project and a really cool person. So the reason why we wanted her to perhaps come and speak to us tonight, part of our project would also involve some micro-industries, because we feel that in the traditional affordable housing, people have the housing, yes, and that's important, housing first, it's a fantastic concept. But then if people have to sit there and suddenly they don't have to look for safe harbor during the night, or they're not being chased away by either the neighbors or the officers, they've got too much time, so they need a vocation. And also, whether we like capitalism or not, it's a cash economy, and people don't have cash. So micro-industry can actually look at all those aspects and start addressing them. And I think we can just learn a lot from Debbie. So please, welcome Debbie.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Debbie Johnson, and as my friend already told you, I am the founder and CEO of Tender Love Community Center. So I'm actually here to talk about Tender Love Community Center, but there is no way I can talk about Tender Love without talking about me first, so that way we can connect the dots. I want to tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why Tender Love? What is the genesis? Originally, as you can tell by my accent, I'm from Africa. I'm from Nigeria. And back home in my country, I am a nurse. Working in the hospital in my country, I don't like it. And it is completely opposite of what is going on here. If you need medical attention and you go to the hospital here, with or without insurance, you will see a doctor, right? But in my country, you have to pay. No money, no treatment. And I just got tired of my job. I got tired of seeing people in pain and agony. And one incident that really made me make up my mind and say, I don't want to do this again. We had a pregnant lady. She was in labor, and we already knew she cannot have the baby naturally. She needed to have C-section, but because of money. We can't do anything without doctor's order. You already know that. And she was there in pain, and eventually she expired. She died. And I told myself, no, I cannot do this anymore. I wanted to go to Canada. I have a brother who is a Canadian citizen. I called my brother, okay, you need to help me. I can't do this anymore. We were making the arrangements for me to relocate to Canada from my country. That was where my uncle, who used to live, maybe he's still there, I'm not sure, but he used to live in Indianapolis, Indiana. My uncle invited me to come for his wedding, and I came a month before 9/11 in 2001. On getting here for the first time, that was the very first time of leaving my country. And so anyway, after my uncle's wedding, I told him my plan about Canada. My uncle said, no way, Debbie, you can't live in Canada. I was like, why can't I live in Canada? He said, in Nigeria, there is no snow. But in Canada, it is a cold place. And I'm like, okay, so tell me more about it. I mean, I don't like snow. I don't want to be in anywhere that cold. He also made me understand, because in my country, we speak British English. So we already learn English, like right from the school age. And when we come to the United States as a nurse, we don't have to start all over. We already know how to speak English. The next thing is to figure out which state you want to stay. Do the nursing board. If you pass, then figure out who want to hire you and help you with all the paperwork to be legally permitted to work in the United States. Who will not like that idea? I love it right away. I was like, yeah, I think I can do that. But unfortunately, after my ticket already expired, I didn't have no money to buy another ticket. My uncle told me, well, Debbie, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but my wife said we cannot house you anymore. Okay, just like a joke. What do you want me to do? Where will I go? I didn't know anybody. That was my very first time of leaving my country. So eventually, I was on the street for 3 months. In my country, there's no shelter for anybody. There's no Medicaid, no Medicare. You work for your money. So I didn't even know that maybe there could be any service out there that can help me out. But thank God I was able to figure it out. I was calling immigration like crazy to tell them my situation. So I moved from Indianapolis to Georgia. And I was able to, figure out what to do. And I used to go to a church in Georgia. Every month, we normally go to different shelters, give them food, give them clothing. Then I look at it. These people will remain homeless for the rest of their lives, just giving food and daily basic needs. It's not going to solve their problems. So, what can I do? As I was racking my brain, I thought about my sewing skills. After my bachelor's degree in my country, I went to a vocational school to learn how to sew. And my mom used to have a sewing machine, so that really inspired me. I was like, okay, I can do this. So I thought about my sewing skill, and I said, I can help, showing people how to do this. We all put on clothing, right? Somebody paid for that directly or indirectly. But unfortunately, after I did the registration of Tender Love in Georgia, there was nobody to talk to. Whenever I talk, they were like, do you speak English? Do you speak English? You have accent. And I'm like, I can't do this. So I went online, tried to Google, where can I go that we accommodate, diversity of people like me? And Albuquerque came up to be one of the places I found. But I fell in love with Albuquerque right away because of the very long name, and it took me a while before I can pronounce Albuquerque. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So I came to Albuquerque in 2011. I was jumping from one place to another. I wanted to know who is doing what. I wanted to help it. Of course, I didn't want to duplicate anything that is already in existence. So I did not find what I was really, really looking for. Then we started this program called Tender Love Community Center. Now I can talk about Tender Love. Tender Love is a 12-month program that we started in 2013 in Albuquerque that train women. We are all for women. That doesn't mean we don't like men, okay? But we are for women. People say when you empower women, that means you empower the whole community, right? So we started with sewing. We have a 12-month syllabus that we teach. You don't need to have any sewing experience. We teach from basic, from how to thread the machine and how to wind the bobbins. Gradually, towards the end of each program session, we will make one wedding gown. And the last project will be they all make their own graduation gowns. So our first graduation was in 2014. We had 8 women. Among these 8 women, and we did something funny, for the first time, we just decided to give them a gift surprise, surprise gift of brand new sewing machine on graduation day, just to, at least you have a skill, then here's the tool. Then in 2016, we had 12 women. And actually one of the 12 women for 2015, 16 or 15, is actually here looking at me. So we, after 2015 graduation, we were like, we got this many graduates, so what can we do to help them more further? Not just to teach them, sewing, hey, take machine, hey, get out of here. Then we partner with CNM School, and they help us to create a small business called Sew for Real. This Sew for Real is for Tender Love graduates, for who want to do it. We work together, make money together, and we also partner with Nusenda Credit Union and BBVA Compounds Bank, and now US Bank joined them. So we have 3 credit unions and 2 and 1 bank that are in charge of financial literacy. They'll come to us for a series of financial classes and, teach them how to do bookkeeping and all those in order to get them prepared for their home business, for those who want to do it. So we have 3 options. After the graduation, option number 1 is for you to partner, work together with the co-op like that we created for the graduates. Option number 2, we do alterations. And I actually have 2 of my ladies that moved to Arizona, and that's what they do. They call it mobile mending units. They'll go to different offices, then, let them know, hey, we come in so days, so time, so if you need anything you want to alter, don't take it out, just bring it to work. While you are at work, we work on them for you. And option number 3, we help them look for job, and want to make sure you still want to work for somebody, then we help them look for job. And prior to that time, those who have housing issue, we figured out how to settle it. And last year, after our graduation last year, we had about 14 women, and we figured out not everybody wants to sew, or not everybody can sew. Then we came up with this flyer, if you all have this. So we're moving from sewing and day shelter to all these many cubes. We are partnering with CNM School. They are in charge of our culinary arts. We've been doing culinary arts, through because my board president, she's a retired home economics teacher. Is it that we go to our house because we don't have kitchen at the facility where we are now? And when we want to do decorations only, she'll come to the facility. But she cannot give official certificate. That's why we're partnering with a CNM school to make that happen. And we partner with a UNM, also UNM school. They are in charge of the adult caregiving. So we're going to have series of classes over at UNM school. It is free. All our service is always free anyway. So they don't need to pay for book. They don't need to pay for anything. So that after that, then they can either work in assisted living or work at group home. Just want to make sure they are not just I don't want them to be stagnant. Hey, it is only sewing, and I don't like to sew. Not everybody really likes sewing. So what we are doing at Tender Love is to bring out the leadership trait out of everybody that comes our way. The lady here, if you look at your flyer, I met this lady. She's actually one of my first graduates. I met her when she was thinking of suicide. And I was like, okay, let me talk to you. I sat her down, at the first facility where we started this program from. And I told her my story. I let her know it is not over yet. You are still alive. And she told me her story. I was like, oh my gosh. She was homeless. She called a lot of shelters, and they told her, you cannot call directly. Your caseworker need to call. Based on what she told me, it took her 6 months before she can get a caseworker. They told her, you have to be on a waiting list. It's not automatic. She was on a waiting list. She finally got a caseworker, and guess what they told her? Well, you don't have the addiction to qualify you to be here. So our program, we're working so hard. As you can see, the cubes at the bottom, we want to house those that really need. We don't want anybody to sleep on the street. And that is the major reason why I like Tiny Home Village. I am fully in support because, we cannot allow anybody to sleep on the street. So Tender Love Community Center is not just about me, Debbie, an African lady. It is about the whole community. Anyone who is available to do this together. And there's going to be time for question and answer. I'm not sure how many minutes I have. Just let me know when it is time for me to get out of here. I will surely do. So as I was saying, we moved to our current facility 3 years ago. When we got to the facility, we thought we found a huge space compared to where we moved from. And guess what? That place is too small. We got donation of fabric almost every single day. And of course, that is what we want, right? But the facility is too small. Plus, we need to be able to do all this. Most of my ladies, they actually have kids. And I don't want them to use their children as the excuses, for them to stay home doing nothing or getting depressed. I let them come with their kids. And of course, we need a separate room that we can keep, these kids so that their parents will be, can be busy doing what they want to do. And that is one of the reasons why our facility is too small. We're working so hard to get us out of there. We have a computer lab that we don't have room to put all the computers. So we're working hard to move out of that place. And each time I tell people, it's not about Debbie. We accommodate any suggestions, any advice. From my background, my expertise is in nursing, now doing nonprofit stuff. It is huge. I mean, so we are always open for suggestions, for advice. And as I said, our door is always open, but the only thing is we do not do walk-ins. It is a lot of work down there for you who have been there before. I know you've been there several times. We don't do walk-ins, but when you want to come see us, just schedule and we will make that happen. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer your question. Okay, Mary.
Where's your new building?
So we do not currently have a building. We have one in mind, but I cannot give the address. It's not far from where we are right now. So we don't know for sure, but we are looking to move. Right now we are in a 3,000 square footage. We want to move to a bigger size. And if you look at this, you see, oh, is that me? I'm sorry. If you look at the flyer here, you see last year graduation. Oh my gosh, I cried my head off at the graduation because there is a lady, she's actually here on your flyer. Last year she was 91, now she's 92. She was just telling everybody, oh my God, my mission come true today. I've never had any opportunity to graduate. I've never been able to do this, So for this woman who is now 92, for her it's not about empowerment, but her mission came true last year, during the graduation. So that is what I want. I'd like to see people like moving from from grass to grace. You get what I mean? That is why I'm here. Is the road easy? Is it really smooth? No. But because I was there, because I was homeless before, I know what it is when you don't know what your next meal is going to look like. So we want everybody to be able to live self-sufficiency lives rather than depending on anybody. And most of the shelters out there that we actually know, you have to sleep there overnight, but in the morning you have to get out. Where will you go to? Whether the weather is good or it's not good, where will they go to? That's where you see them carry sign, give me $1. We don't want that. We really don't want to see anybody asking for money. We want to show you how to make your own money and live a better life rather than depending on anybody. That is who we are, and that is what Tender Love is doing. And there was a time I asked one of the supervisors, why can't they stay? At least they live here. Why can't they just stay all day? Oh no, they have to go out there to go and look for a job. Okay, so maybe they just came out of jail a few minutes ago. Who is going to hire? Maybe they didn't even have no skills or maybe nothing. So we do not want that to happen. We want to make sure we don't just sit you down watching TV. We keep you busy. And I tell people, nobody get depressed around me because I will keep you busy. Do I have any questions? Yes, sir.
I'm interested in hearing a little more detail. Thanks, Silva. I'm interested.
I can hear you.
I'm interested in a little more detail about your partnership.
Okay.
With Lucenda and the two banks.
Okay.
Because I think when we're thinking about a tiny home village, also the nature of partnerships with all kinds of community resources.
Okay.
And so your example and your lessons might be really interesting to me.
Yes. And I can make that happen easily because we started with Nusenda Credit Union. We've been doing the financial literacy with them for the past 4 years. And then BBVA joined them. And of course, we got US Bank. US Bank has been in support for the past 3 years. But for this year, we get funding from them. But this year, they are interested in doing financial literacy with us because we got clients like almost every day. And now we already got the financial literacy with Nusenda and BBVA already done for this session. And we still have brand new people that started like few weeks ago. So towards the end of this year's session, we're going to have U.S. Bank. So I can easily talk to them, because I'm passionate about tiny home. I'm part of tiny home too.
Just to follow up though, so the nature of the partnership includes financial literacy classes and some financial support for Tiny Love. And do they help provide any loans for people, or is that something you're thinking about in the future? I'm just wondering what the nature of that.
BBVA can do loans, like a small business loans. BBVA can do that. But I'm not sure about Nusenda, and I can easily find out. Yeah, but for sure, BBVA do small business loans. They do.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions before I sneak out? Okay, I'll take the bread and I'll come back to you.
Have you ever tried to find relatives? Have you ever tried to find relatives in the other parts of the country to help people that are in need here locally?
That's a very good question. Let me tell you what people in Africa, let's say, when I say Africa, I'm referring to my country because I'm from Nigeria. You see, the way we look at American, it's like everybody that lives in America, and they are already rich. They have millions, they have a lot of money. So, but what we're planning on doing is to take tender love to them, to the whole country, everywhere. Currently, I have one of my students with me. She's in training because we are looking forward to having a tender love community facility. After this year's graduation, we're going to have one in Los Lunas. And she is going to be in charge of the one in Los Lunas, so currently she's on training. Jackie, can you say hi to everybody? So we are taking tender love to different places, but we've never thought about, talking to them down there to give money here. They would be like, how do you want me to do that? They're already rich. They don't know.
So Debbie, my question is, what are some of the challenges that you have in keeping women in the program? So, everybody's life experience is different, and what do you see as the biggest challenges of keeping her in the program and moving forward?
I like that question so much. There's something happened 2 weeks ago at our facility. So, I try so hard not to think about it anymore because it can be so annoying. In working with diversity of people, because they are not from the same background, even if they are twins, born by the same parents, they will still have different, sense of reasoning and things like that. In working with the kind of people that we are helping, you have to come down to their level. Don't let them, of course, I talk to them like we are from the same family. So like the name sounds, Tender Love Community Center, we are just like a family there. We eat together, we give them free lunches. When we first started this program, I used to buy lunch for them out of my pockets. So a lot of people thought, you crazy? No, I'm not crazy, but this is my passion. But now we get free food from Rock at Noonday. We've been getting lunches from them for the past 2 years. So we are together like a family. Among all the group you're working with, you're going to see one that we think you like another one better. You're going to see the one that think, what am I even doing here, wasting my time? You're going to see the one that every little thing, they just want to use F word. So you want to help them. You already know their background. That's why we do not check their background when they come, because we already know what we're going to find. We are not really in particular about their past, but from where we met them, moving forward, that is what we are passionate about. We want to help them to live a better life. So in working with them, you just have to ignore a lot of dramas. And Jackie will testify to what I'm saying. You just have to. and do not let Miss A think that, well, you like Miss B better. You know, we see that almost every single day. But because I love all of them, I just want to help. Most of the time when they offend me, I'm supposed to be like, you know what? Never come back. But am I doing them any good when I do that? No, I still have to tolerate and just, my mom used to say something. If you have 10 friends, you have to learn 10 different ways of dealing with each and every one of them. Let this one know that, hey, you like her. Let this one know, so that there will be peace. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I have one follow-up. So is transportation an issue and getting folks to your facility every day?
We let them stay like a month. After a month, no calling, no running late, no absence, unnecessarily, then they automatically earn monthly bus passes. We give them free bus passes. And for those that have cars, because some of them drive, we're still working so hard to be able to give them stipend, even if it is $20 every week. That way, they will look forward to coming. We've got a lot, like when we first started, we got about 25 applications. And at the end of the day, we had 8 people graduated in our first. So there's no way that will not happen. And we are still fighting. We're still looking forward to be able to give them stipend. And this is our 4th program year. I am the CEO, right? But I am a full-time volunteer. I'm not getting paid to do what I'm doing. It is all about my passion, and I love what I'm doing. I used to work at UNM Hospital. I work night shift, 7P to 7A. And after 12 long hours, you're supposed to get home and hop in bed, right? Well, if you remember taking a shower. Then guess what? I will not go to bed. Then I will have to go to where we started from. It's not far from this building. It's somewhere behind Island High School. So it's like I'll stay up all night and stay up all day. Then I fell sick. My doctor said, hey, you have to sleep. And I have option. If I can do 7P to 7A, I should be able to do 7A to 7P, right? But I don't know who want to work for free like I've been doing for the past 4 years. We are still standing. The road is not easy. The road is rough. But hey, I love what I'm doing. I love seeing people smiling. And that's why we are still here. Any other questions?
First of all, thank you. That was very, very informative. I guess I have 2 questions. The first is kind of going back to something that Tim Karpoff mentioned earlier about financial literacy. Mm-hmm. I was wondering if you had been in conversation at all with Prosperity Works and thinking a little bit about their individual development account program. Individual development accounts are kind of a savings type of program that is subsidized. I think quite a bit of it comes from the state, but I know that it's, as opposed to just loans, I know that they incentivize a certain amount of savings over a certain amount of time. And so I just was wondering if you guys had maybe been in contact with them, or maybe you guys could try.
As I said earlier, when I first got here, I was just meeting with a lot of people. So I met the executive director. I can't remember what her name is, but I can remember the name of that organization. I met with her, and I know the house women that are just coming out of jail, right? So
with Prosperity Works? No, I think they're more focused on financial education. They might have other programs that I'm not aware of, but it's Prosperity Works does a lot of financial literacy type of work.
Maybe I'm mistaken. Yeah. Let me put that down. I'm not sure, but I can figure it out. The lady I met...
Ona Porter is the executive director.
Oh, no, that's not, yeah. So I miss, it's like... So I was told about Ona Porter, but we've not been able to...
I think it'd be a great connection for sure.
Okay, good. I will definitely follow up. I'm mistaking that with another organization. The name sounds
there's a lot of great organizations doing good work here, so...
Okay, I will surely follow up with Ona. We're actually friends on Facebook, but we never met. We never met, so I need to do this.
And then the other question I had was, while we're here kind of discussing your program in the context of the Tiny Home Village project, I'm just wondering how, maybe, and this is for everybody, how we could imagine your program being integrated into the Tiny Home Village project. You know, I think maybe we can even just brainstorm a little bit about, you know, can some of the opportunities, training opportunities, help people pay for rent at the village? How can they work in tandem? How, you know, with your program focusing primarily on women, if this tiny home village has men, how can we accommodate the men? Anyway, I'm just kind of brainstorming.
To be honest, on a weekly basis, we can get like 3 or 4 men that we call and be like, why are you only empowering women? What happened to men? So at my last board meeting, we are planning on having a program that is going to be $10 program. We may call it another name, but it's going to be $10 program that we focus on men. Because currently, you know, we cannot put both men and women under the same umbrella because majority of them have been through abusive relationship and other stuff, so we don't want that to happen. But I actually have about two people that are waiting for me to do something. We want to teach men how to build and repair computers. And I have somebody who is available to train them for free, of course. But because of the facility we have right now, we can't do that. We barely have a room, you know, for anything. So yes, we have planned for men, but it's going to be separate. We can't put them together. And yes, with the tiny home, of course, I'm willing, I'm ready. You just tell me what you want me to do, I'll do it. As long as it's not going to put me in trouble. Trust me, I will do it. So having tiny home village, and we have a lot of our ladies that are not, you know, that they don't have. You see this cube right here, we put, you know, permanent housing, emergency. It's just because we get tired of our waiting list. Last week, and of course I have a witness. She's not here, right? She's not here, right? I have a witness. I'm sorry, I'm just not used to this. Early last month, a lady called me. She moved from Georgia. She drove with her 4-year-old son from Georgia. And she got here, she rented a motel with all the cash she came with. And after 2 weeks, she needed to either get out of the place or pay another 2 for 2 for another 2 weeks, and she had no money. She called me, I invited her to come. And she got to me, she was like, okay, I came from Georgia. She explained everything. I felt so bad for her. I called, oh my God, up to 12 places that some of them we attend meeting almost every month because I'm part of a coalition to end homelessness. And I thought there should be somebody out there that can house this lady, like, you know, with 4-year-old son. I tried so hard. I couldn't. And in my house, we don't have no visitors room because that's where I'm using for my sewing room. So it's like, I should have just said, you know what, just follow me home. I hate to see anybody, you know, suffering. But eventually, you know, I was able to get a Karen, I'm sure, I don't know if any of you know Karen Navarro, who connected me with Julie. Julie is still sitting behind here. And thank God, she lives there now. She lives there, you know. So in a situation where it's going to be a huge problem for these people to get housed, that is where Tender Love is. And of course, if Tiny Home is ready today, we don't need to worry about all this permanent housing and everything, because I know we're going to be part of Tiny Home. Then that way, we don't have to worry about how to house these people. You get what I'm saying? And I just want to use this opportunity to say something, if it is okay. The same lady I was talking about who just moved from Georgia, she got a job, and I introduced her to one of the low-income apartments. They're gonna get her into a 2-bedroom apartment on or before the end of this month, and we are planning a surprise welcome party for her, August 6th. If you want to know more about it, Julie already know. You can contact Julie. Or you let me know. You can contact me and I will let you know the address of where we're going to. And the party is just to welcome her, and I've been talking to my friends. If you have anything, any household items that we can give, to our kids, and in 4-year-old son, we need to at least make them feel welcome. From Georgia to Albuquerque. I did that too 6 years ago. Any other questions? Okay, baby.
I've been going to Q-Lab. I don't know if anybody else knows about this place. It's a 10,000 square foot warehouse. But it was in a smaller space before, but it has a woodworking shop, what do you call it when you do the metal? Machinist shop, and sewing area, and stained glass.
And where is that?
Computer. I'll get you a card.
Oh,
my
good.
card. So it's a place where you can join for $40 a month,
Okay.
and it's open 24 hours. You get a key.
Oh.
But they were looking for people to collaborate. Now, they have an area to repair computers and do all that. So,
Oh, wow.
So I want to connect you with them.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do, of
And-
course.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so honored to be here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you. So if people still want to talk about the Tiny Home Village project per se, then let's take a short breather so that people can go and grab some coffee, grab something to eat, go to the bathroom, etc., and I'll be here. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, and that's Ilse Bill, in case you didn't know, that was Ilse Bill. So she has a lot of passion, a lot of things going on. But what I did want to say is that my name is Bernadette Mieta. I'm the project manager from Bernalillo County, and my cards are in the back. I'm happy to speak to anybody about the project, and you can reach me that way or chat this evening. Thank you.